Have you ever wondered how Jedi obtain new members? In its heyday, the Jedi had thousands of members from across the galaxy, Force-sensitive beings dedicated to serving the light and fight for the Republic. Have you ever wondered how Jedi found their new members? Or how parents react to their children joining the strange supernatural police force? In today's video, we'll be diving into this very topic. We'll also be taking a look at some exceptions to how they normally find members and how Luke approached finding Jedi in his era. As always, the information in this video comes from the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which is different from Disney's canon. Now, let us begin. So in the days of the Republic, how did the Jedi find new members? Jedi in this era were forbidden from romantic attachments. They didn't marry or breed powerful lineages from strong Jedi. However, a Force-sensitive being can be born from anywhere, regardless of wealth, social status, or Force-sensitive parents. Occasionally, on planets where Force-sensitive children don't learn to harness their power, it can be seen as a curse. They are sometimes accused of witchcraft and shunned by their community. After all this trauma, it can be hard to add them into the Jedi Order, and the way of the light side in general. It can sometimes lead to them being recruited by Sith instead. New members were normally found and brought into the temple by Jedi recruiters. Jedi recruiters were Jedi sentinels who were tasked with finding Force-sensitive infants and bringing them into the temple. In the Republic, finding Force-sensitive newborns was a relatively straightforward process. Mandatory blood tests were taken at the infant's birth, which counted the midichlorians in the child, letting them know if they were Force-sensitive or not. If they were found positive, they were brought to the temple for a follow-up, as the tests aren't always a sure sign that a being is Force-sensitive. Many families are proud that their children have been admitted into the Jedi Order and are willing to give them up. However, many hate the Jedi for taking children and brand them as kidnappers. Now, the Jedi Order has full legal authority to take Force-sensitive children, and some masters have argued that the Force's presence in the child is consent enough to join the Order. While it hasn't caused too much trouble for them, there have been instances where the Jedi Order has been sued for this, and another case where a bounty hunter was hired to steal a child from the temple. So obviously this didn't help the Jedi Order's reputation. Okay, so we all know that Jedi want to add members as early as possible to prevent them from attachment and obsession. But there have been exceptions, so what are the procedure for these exceptions? For these older children, special tools and puzzles were known to have been used. This included the testing screen, which recorded the ability to read minds or view images remotely, and the mental maze, a test that showed whether or not a student could use basic telekinesis. We've seen some of this being done in The Phantom Menace when the Jedi Council was testing Anakin. Another exception was Asherad Het, a Tusken Raider Jedi turned Dark Lord of the Sith. That's a story for another video. Anyway, these are two examples of exceptions. Now, coincidentally, or not, both of these individuals became Sith Lords. Now, I'm not saying it's connected, but it totally could be. Both of them lost their parents who they were attached to. Now, before we move to the next section, I just want to point out that not all Jedi who join later on are like this. Nomi Sunrider was an amazingly powerful and gifted Jedi who, despite the loss of her husband, was able to stay in the light. Now, Luke Skywalker in the Expanded Universe had a different view on attachment and marriage and how he added members into the Order. First of all, members who joined his Order joined voluntarily. They were also mostly adults, at least to begin with. As time went on in the Jedi Order and the Jedi Order started having children, he would train them as teenagers. Now, early on, when he basically had no members, Luke had to get creative with how he found Jedi. The novel Jedi Search from the Jedi Academy trilogy gives us a pretty good understanding of how he detected potential members. After Palpatine's death, Luke Skywalker came across a device that was used by the Emperor's hunters to track down Force-sensitive. When the device scanned an individual, they would appear on the screen and a corona of blue would surround them. This allowed non-Force sensitives to locate Force sensitives as well. He could also mind probe individuals to see if they were Force sensitive or not. So there you have it. That's how Jedi found their members. It's interesting to see how Jedi in different eras approached this. The Jedi in the prequel era tended to kind of just take children to serve their cause, whereas Luke Skywalker had a completely different approach. Now, I personally like Luke Skywalker's method a little bit more. However, it does seem like the Jedi in the days of the Republic had many more members. Luke Skywalker barely reached the hundreds, so maybe his method was a little less effective. But which approach do you like and which do you think is more effective? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.